just lit this town like a fire in a blaze, gotta burn it down. Can't be afraid to leave this out. We got this far, don't know how. I see danger in your eyes. They know we'll burn down the night. Coming just like the sunrise. You know that we gonna let it away tonight. We gonna let it away tonight. We gonna let it just like the sunrise. We gonna let it out. Just like a spark that's breaking out. Can't make a stop, can't turn back now. We know that there's no room for doubt. No, we can't turn back now. I see danger in your eyes. They know we'll burn down the night. Coming just like the sunrise. You know that we gonna let it away tonight. We gonna let it away tonight. We gonna let it just like the sunrise. We gonna let it out.
Well, hello. Welcome in, everybody. You can actually kind of see my microphone tonight. That's interesting. I'm losing it. I swear it felt like a shirt was on like the back of the chair and it like fell off on me, but it didn't. That's just very weird. Spooky. Sorry, I'm putting my comb over there. I have a mess going on. So as we're chit-chatting and we're getting to know each other a little bit here, just gonna throw some stuff around while we're doing that. But welcome into tonight's live. My name is Tanya. This is Titanium Built True Crime. If you're into true crime cases, deep dives, timelines, all of those things, make sure you're subscribed to the channel. We are trying to get to 25,000 subscribers. I want to try to do it by this weekend. We are I think like 23 off, I think maybe 23. So we only need 23 of you lovely people to subscribe to our channel. But we really do have a great channel here. It's definitely worth it. So like I said, if you're into timelines, deep dives, court cases, court hearings, quick updates, pre-recorded, live videos, we do it all here. So if you want to subscribe, please do. Hit the bell icon. And if you guys don't mind, hit the like button and we'll get started with tonight's live. So let's see who's all here. Let's see who we got in the building. Hey there, Ladybug. Was you dancing with me? I was dancing. I was like, oh, is it Friday? I think it is. Hey, Crystal. I was so busy after our last live. It was like I had to do so much stuff. Vincent left me here by myself. Hey, Crystal. Hey, Catherine. How you doing? Feel like it's been a couple of days since I've seen you. Hey, Miss Bree. I am getting better emotional. Well, Catherine, I hope we can help you feel better because I know how that feels, you know? Oh, I feel like my life could be an emotional roller coaster. I could probably have my own soap opera. Maybe I should try. Maybe that's what we'll do. We'll do Tanya's soap opera. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, so I am gonna just do this really fast. Oh, oh, there's the dogs. I knew those little dogs would want to come in. That's kind of what I was waiting on too. So I'm gonna let them in. They're gonna be good girls, and then I'm gonna be right back. I'm not even gonna mute. I'm not even gonna mute myself. All right, girls. Come on, girls. There's one. Where's the other? Alrighty. Alright. Come on. Come on. You're gonna want to come in. You know you will. You know you will. As soon as the door closes, you'll be like, "Ah, wish I could have went in there." Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that, guys. Thank you, and I'm sorry. They they're my production crew, you know, so they sleep on the job all the time, but they're here. Okay, so let me get my file open. I'm like, I promise I'm just running like everywhere today. So that's not the right one. Actually, I don't even know if we'll need that one, but I'm keeping it up just in case. So, as you guys may know, there it has been like 28 new documents that have come out in the Idaho 4 case. If you're not familiar with the Idaho 4 case, which I am sure everybody is familiar, 4 University of Idaho students were brutally murdered inside of their off-campus home at 1122 King Road by Christopher Koberger. 163214 is his inmate number. That's what he's known for now, and that's what he'll be known for the rest of his life. He decided that he was going to go in someone's home in the dead of night and kill 4 people that were sleeping, that were supposed to be sleeping. Some were sleeping, some weren't. So, I guess that there's that. I guess there's that. Hey, Kitsy Cats, how you doing? Yeah, I hope you feel better, Catherine. Okay. So, let me move this over here. So, okay. Um, basically, on our last live, we went over, like, the first interview that, Dylan kinda did. According to, the newly released documents, Dylan did tell investigators that during the early morning hours, of November 13th, 2022, that they just were kind of talking to her and asking her what kind of happened, and she told them that she was awakened by noises coming from inside the house. She opened her bedroom door multiple times during the night after hearing, sounds upstairs. She initially believed she heard a male voice say something similar to, "It's okay, Kaylee, I'm here for you," but we now know it's something for Xana. "I'm here to help you." In later interviews, she did revise the statement, and she says she was no longer certain that it was Kaylee's name that was mentioned. Investigators ultimately concluded the statement was more likely along the lines of, "It's okay, I'm going to help you." So Dylan eventually, opened her door for a third time, and she did come in contact with the intruder, and she was trying to describe him the best that she could. I mean, he was wearing a black balaclava. He was dressed from head to toe in black, and all she could see was his eyes a little bit and his eyebrows, which technically, I was thinking all those, because she was into like eyes and eyebrows, like in her bedroom, she would be the perfect witness. Like, because that's probably that's probably what her eyes go to when she first sees somebody. Everybody's a little different, you know? Oh, there's Vincent. You sat on your own rifle and got a fire on my own butt. Tanya, I need you to take me to the doctor. Oh, geez, other Vincent. I think you need the emergency room. Okay, so we're gonna read tonight the transcript of the second interview with Dylan Mortensen. This is altogether 145-page document. There's a multiple transcripts in here that we're going to go through. So we're going to go through like one interview every time we go live, and it should be probably a 3 or 4 part series. So buckle up. But you do hear some things that we didn't know before, and we even heard some things last night that I even was like, "What? That's weird." Because, and you know me, I'm always, and I'm not saying I'm not, but I am always here for the victim. So, this is going to be the second interview with Dylan Mortensen. Do I have it up? I don't even have it up. Not even sharing it with you guys. I'm like gatekeeping it. So, this is gonna be the second interview with Dylan Mortensen. Speakers on this audio, which there's no audio, is gonna be Detective Victoria Gooch. I think that's how you say her name. Um, I like her for the fact that when we were getting police reports back, she was getting all of the juicy stuff. She was getting the details. Like she was working hard. So it's gonna be Dylan Mortensen, Sergeant Dustin Blaker, and Robin McPherson Esquire, and I'm pretty sure that is Dylan's lawyer, that she got, which if anyone says that's weird that she has a lawyer, no, not so much, not so much. Oh, and one more thing before we get started. Okay, this is gonna take 2 seconds. Once we hit 25,000 subs, we are gonna do a giveaway, so put in the comments below if you're watching on replay or after this, comment below what you guys think we should make the giveaway gift be. We could do, like, we've done, like, gift cards and stuff before. Also, I'm having a huge sale at my boutique store. My boutique store has nothing to do with YouTube. It's not like my gear or nothing. It's Poppy and Ari, and I'll put that in the chat and throughout the live. But if you use summer, all capitalized 40 at the end of checkout, you'll get 40% off your total purchase. And all of that money that we do make over the weekend, we're putting it right back into the store to get brand new dresses and all that kind of stuff for summer. So just wanted to let you know. Okay, let's get started. And I might need my glasses here in a minute. So this is going to be Miss McPherson. I don't know why she says SON, but okay. And then why does this start out like that? Like, you know what I mean? It doesn't even start out like, hello, hi, how are you? Okay, so then Detective Gooch says, thank you, Lewiston. Miss McPherson says, I'm in Moscow, and technically it's Sullivan Law Office where I work, but, and then she said, thank you. You're welcome. Detective Gooch says, Robin, I'm recording. So is Dustin. So it makes, and she says, okay. I don't know why everyone interrupts everybody. They all be doing that. Okay, it's easier so we're not spending a lot of time writing through the report building, but also for staying connected to Dylan. We don't want it sterile. Wouldn't you want it sterile? Oh, okay. And then it says, of course. Okay, I'm recording. Is that okay, Dylan? And your last name is Mortensen. And Dylan said, yes. Sergeant Blaker, and you have every right to record as well. You know that, right? I love you, Sergeant Blaker. I love that. That's the first time I've ever heard a cop say that. Like, you're allowed to record us too. Like, we're recording you. You can record us if you want. I love that. I'm sorry. I love that. Because has anyone ever heard that before? I've never heard that. And I would have too. I do want to do a merch shirt. I have one in mind, like a little titanium arm on there. But I want it to be like embroidered, like sewn in. So, okay. So McPherson says, sure. Do you guys have body cams going too, or just, and then Dylan Mortensen says, or, oh, Caitlin, do you have, why does it say that? Like, sure. Do you have body cams going too, or just, and this is Kaylee. That makes no sense. Dylan says, so I have an assignment. I turned it in right before I left to go to Sigma Chi. So pretty much Saturday night, we got home from the White's apartment. I'm going to guess around 5:30 again. I fully don't remember. This is like they didn't give us half the interview. So there's 8:39. Look, 7:48. And then it skips down to 8:39. What happened in this hour? Hey, Laura, look at them. They're trying to be sneaky. So it says, I don't fully remember. Again, we were drinking that day too. Like I had just had champagne. Like I had probably around 3 drinks, seltzers. We made food. I know me and Kaylee made pasta and Xana made the sandwich. Xana, me, all of us roommates. So Xana, me, Bethany, Kaylee, Maddie, we're all together. Kaylee decided to go take a nap, and then we were me, Xana, Bethany, and me, Xana, Bethany, and Maddie were on the couch watching a show. Okay, so let's say I might be wrong. I could be wrong. I ain't saying I ain't wrong. I could be wrong. Remember how I said I thought that Kaylee was sleeping in her bed that night because her bed looked like the covers were drawn down on it, like they were like, pulled away, like someone had gotten out of the bed. Well, it could have been when she was taking a nap and she just didn't fix her bed. I mean, that could be a possibility. Just want to put that out there. Because I didn't know that she took a nap. Kayla decided to take a nap, and then me, Xana, Bethany, and Maddie were on the couch watching a show. I don't know if we were fully watching a show, but we were eating, talking, and we all said we were going to take a nap. I took a nap on the living room couch. Maddie went to her room, Xana went to her room, and Bethany went to her room. Because remember, this was a day game, so they're, resting up for the night. I don't remember when Ethan came around. I can't fully remember. Might have been once after we all woke up. We all set a timer at 8 p.m. to wake up together. They all were getting ready to go out. I'm pretty sure Ethan came over when we all woke up. I had to finish some psych homework, and I can look at when I turned it in. That's when I know I left, but I am almost positive. I guess I shouldn't say that. I don't know for sure when they left because, again, I was probably still intoxicated. I would say I think around 9:30, 10 o'clock-ish. And Detective Gooch said, but you're set your alarms for 8 p.m. Yes, I know that for sure. We all set our alarms for 8 p.m. I'm just going to look at when I turn this assignment in. Let's see. What's the date? She doesn't even, like, her brain. Oh, man, that's so sad. It would have been the 12th. Yeah, the 12th, Dylan says. And then Detective Gooch says something that's inaudible. Dylan says, so I turned my assignment in at 10:12. So then I guess, yeah, they must have gone before around 9:30 before 10 because it took me about 20 minutes to do this assignment. That sounds like me. 20 minutes. You need a 1,000-word essay? I got you. There's going to be a lot of likes in there and twos and stuff. I'm just kidding. We used to have really long essays. And then it says, were you in the house alone? And she says, no, Kaylee was upstairs in her room. She was getting ready for the club. One of her alpha friends came over. I can't remember her name, but I met her a few times. She's super nice. They were upstairs hanging out and they were all getting ready. I got ready and I was like, okay, I'm going to go over to Sigma Chi. I left. I turned this in. I got ready. So that means I probably left around 10:30. I didn't know that Kaylee had a friend over that night. Did you guys know that? Did anyone know that? I'm glad you joined us, Laura. We're pretty cool here, I promise you. We really are. Oh, look, even Catherine. Ask questions. Yep. If you need them. And if I don't know the answer, I'll look it up. I've covered this case since the day it happened, but there's a lot of information, and we've read every single document. So, and tonight, if you're not sure what we're going over the transcripts of Dylan Mortensen, her interviews. They just came out, and one of these is going to be the grand jury testimony, which they never put that out. So that's going to be interesting. So then he said, or she says, Detective Gooch, what was the class assignment that you were turning in? It's Psychology 215. Did you have a deadline at midnight or something? That's what mine were. Yeah, that's when I had. Well, I guess I was supposed to turn it in Friday, so I was trying to turn it in to get some credit. Yeah, some credit at least. So you think you left at, and she says 10:30. And the detective says 10:30. Okay. Dylan says, because I had to get ready. This is saying that obviously I turned this in at 10:12. I'm going to say around 10:30 is when I left. When you left, who was in the house? Kaylee, I believe. And I know Kaylee was for sure. And I don't fully remember if her friend was still there. I'm pretty sure. Detective Gooch says, what's her friend's name again? I don't remember her name. She's super nice. I mean, she's an alpha or AFI. It's AFI, isn't it? She's AFI, so, like, I'm not, like, close with her, but I know of her, but she's super nice, I just can't remember her name. So my house to Sigma Chi is, like, a 2-minute walk, like, it's right in front of our house, pretty much across the street up the little green hill. I guess you would know. As I was walking there, the Whites' apartment, like, the parking lot between I guess, parking lot between the street and the Whites, I was walking down there and I saw Maddie, and she was holding a box of White Claws, I believe, and as she was walking, I was like, "Oh, where are you going? Like, are you not staying?" I'm gonna put you guys over here, sorry, I should've did that earlier. It's so much easier to see the chat if I just, like, pull you guys over here. Okay. There we go, look at that. So, as she's walking to, like, Sigma Chi, Maddie's come back the other way. And Maddie says, "No, I'm going to go to the club with Kaylee." I was like, "Oh, okay, well, have fun." I would've been like, "Hey, can I have your White Claws?" I'm just kidding. I don't know when they left. I didn't go home. I just went straight to Sigma Chi. And then Sergeant Blaker says, "Real quick, the route you took to Sigma Chi, did you go down to King and cross, or did you take the shortcut?" You know, those little stairs, like, in front of their house? You can take those. Um, you know those little stairs that's in between, like, the tiny little stairs that's next, and he says, "Uh-huh," to the Whites. Yeah. Those tiny stairs, I walked down that, walked the Whites parking lot, and then up that green hill. And then Sergeant Blaker said, "Okay, so you came out of your front. I'm assuming you came out the front door." "Yes." "Into the parking lot." "Yes." "Crossed Queen." "Yes." So, crossed it, and then is it yellow or blue? Right there, the house. There's the house right there. You can go in between. And then crossed Queen, yes. Took the little short path, yes, between the Whites and the blue apartments. Blue. Yes. To your left, uh-huh. What point of those were what point of those where you ran into Maddie? Right when that parking lot, like that big blue dumpster, I'm always positive is where I met her. And I said, "Oh, like, what are you doing?" She said, "I'm going to the club." And then Sergeant Blaker said, "So you are already down then?" And she says, "Yeah, I was down into the White's parking lot, the parking lot." "Okay, right where it ends, and that blue dumpster is where?" And he says, "Okay." And she says, "I saw her." He says, "All right." Then Detective Gooch comes back in. "Was she headed home with the White Claws first?" "No, she wants to just take them to the bar with her." I'm just kidding. Um, Dylan Mortensen said, "Yes, she had the White Claws with her, and she was walking home, and then I believe it was, like, one of those mini mixed or mini six-packs, not like the huge ones." I know I have those pictures somewhere, but I wish I had the crime scene pictures handy, just so I could see it, like, because I know that a lot of them had alcohol in their room, and a lot of them had, like, White Claws. I was just wondering if you could see them, you know? Hey, Marcella. Hey, Betsy. Oh, by the way, I loved your comment earlier. I told Vincent about you. I was like, "I love her." I was like, "She will break it down." So she was walking home with the White Claws, you know, she's gonna put her White Claws up, back because 'cause they're going to the club. She's gonna go meet Kaylee. And then, Detective Gooch says, "And we're not here." "Yeah, I know. We're not, and it's inaudible. I know you know that." Dylan says, "So I go to Sigma Chi. I go through there because they close their gates at a certain time, so you have to go through the front door and get these wristbands." They didn't have no wristbands when I used to go to fraternity parties. Okay, it's a real party. I go through the door, I called Xana and Bethany, and I was like, "Oh, what apartment are you at?" Because they were at apartments beforehand, and they go from before, so I go down there. Ethan's there. His triplet brother, Hunter, Mason, one of the freshmen, is there. I don't know if he means Macy or she means Macy or Mason, okay. There's some girls in there I wouldn't know, but, like, I've seen before. They're all sorority and fraternity people. I'm with Zan and Bethany. Bethany's friend, Yessie, is there with us all as well. Gideon, which is my best friend, Claire, she has a guy little named Gideon. I think that's like the transcript is wrong. Super nice guy, met him a lot, like a great friend. He was with us too. Me and Gideon were kind of going in and out of the lodge, which is the main Sigma Chi place, and back to the apartment just to see how like it was going. Like if it was going or not, which it really wasn't that night. That's what I'm gonna say about that. Um, she's saying that they were going back to their house, right? And then back to Sigma Chi. Kind of going back in and out of the lodge. Yeah, and back to the apartment. Okay, I think they were going back to the apartment, maybe they had alcohol there. And maybe they didn't have a lot of alcohol, so, like, they had, like, a bottle or something there, so they were, like, going back to their apartment, drinking some liquor. I don't know, this is what I'm thinking. I'm thinking, like I'm trying to think of, like, a college kid. And then they went back to the party, because why would you walk it's cold. It's cold that night. It's cold. Why would you be walking back and forth for no reason? Right? Like, you're just gonna go home a bunch of times just to see what everyone's doing? I don't know. I think they might have been having a little fun. You're allowed to do that in college. So it says, like, if it was going or not, which is it really wasn't that night. It was a dead party. I mean, there wasn't a lot of people, which is kind of weird for Sigma Chi. And then Detective Gooch says, was there a football game going on the same time though? No. They had a day game. That's why there wasn't a lot of people partying, because when you have a day game, you start drinking around 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock in the morning. If the game starts at 12, yeah. Yep. At Ohio State, they do anyway. And yeah, we're messed up people, I guess. um, so I can see that. So she says no, and she says, oh, I don't believe so. There was a late game that night, Detective Gooch says. Dylan Morton says, oh, maybe there still was. I can't remember. And it says, so I think it started at 8:30. Oh, it was a late game. I thought it was a day game. And then she says, I thought inaudible. I don't know. And then Sergeant Blaker said it started at 4. Dylan said, I thought it was 4. I thought it was a day game. This whole time. What? This whole 3.5 years, I was under and I'm not a dummy. I was under the impression that it was a day game, and that's why it was so quiet that night, because everybody had been drinking all day. That's been in my head for 3.5 years. Maybe we'll read more. That's weird. I know it was a day game. I'm about to look it up. It might take me a second. Maybe Google will pick this up. Huh. Okay. Yes. The November 12th, 2022 football game between the Idaho Vandals and the UC Davis Aggies was a day game. It kicked off, I guess it kicked off at 4 o'clock. Or wait, but it'd be 1 p.m. our okay, hold on. 4 o'clock our time, but 1 o'clock their time. So it was a day game. Okay. We got it. Okay. It was a day game, but for some reason, I don't know why they're talking like this, because it was a day game. Like it says here, kickoff was at 4:02 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So that's us. They're Pacific. They're 3 hours. So it would have been 1:02 their time. But I still thought it was like 12. Yeah. I thought it was like a 12 o'clock game, but still, that's what they're saying. Okay. So it was a day game. I'm like, we are not all crazy. We all are. But we're not that crazy. So let's see what else they said. It started at 4. I thought it was 4. Okay. Oh, it's the Washington State game. No, that's it. What's UC Davis Aggie? I don't think that's them. I think they need to go back. That was already done. That's what he said. Sergeant Blaker said. She said, "Oh, it was? Yeah, I think that's inaudible. Sigma Chi." And Sergeant Blaker said, "Yes." Dylan said, "That's fine. Yeah, I just didn't know." So me and Gideon obviously going back and forth, kind of looking around. Eventually, they go into Peter's room, Peter's apartment. Who the hell's Peter? Which I think is, I can't remember his apartment, number 5. I can't fully remember. He's a really nice guy. Everyone's a really nice guy. Totally trust him. Like, I like a lot. They were hanging out in there. I remember Ethan was really worried about his sister Maisie because Maisie is a beta. They also had their formal that night. And so Maisie took Ethan, her triplet brother, as her date. He was texting her a lot because she wasn't answering her. And apparently she had been calling Ethan. That's a good brother, you know? Detective Gooch says, Ethan, this is Ethan. And Dylan says, Chapin. Yes, I know who you're talking about, but you were talking about Ethan calling his triplet. And Dylan said, yes, Maisie Chapin. Chapin, Chapin. I can't remember how you say it. Apparently, Maisie had been crying and she wasn't answering her phone, and he just liked texting her a lot, really worried. I ended up talking to Maisie after everything happened, and she was like, no, like, I just fell asleep and I forgot to text. And the last thing he said was, like, I love you. That's, like, way later, but so I remember that, and that's so sweet. Hey, Simply. Hey, PKC. I'm so glad. Hey, TM. I'm so glad. Hey, Julian. Hey, everybody. Welcome in. I I'm so glad that those were his last words to her, you know? Brothers and sisters can be. And then Detective Gooch said, did he say why she was upset? No, he didn't know why. He was really worried about her. He was very protective, like he was like an older brother, like a big brother to me too. Like he was super protective of all of us. And then I believe it was me, Gideon, Yessie, and Bethany that went to the lodge. And I remember saying, like, do you want to go to Allie's? Allie is one of Xana's best friends. We met Allie through Xana. I guess she was at the house. She has 2 roommates. One of them I know, Kennedy. Kennedy was there and they were just having, I think they were just like 5 or 6 people total at the house. And it's like a 5-minute walk from my house. Grab a drink. So I remember telling Yessie, Bethany, and Gideon, like, do you want to go to Allie's? We just called it Allie's. They ended up staying. So me and Gideon ended up walking there. It's like a 5-minute walk. I was with him. We go in there. It's obviously me, Gideon, Kennedy, Jenna, Claire, and Lake. Claire, I mean Jenna's best friend, Ava, and then Jenna's twin, Zach. And then there's also Hayden, I believe. I'm also positive that's who was there. Again, I kept drinking more. We were playing Rage Cage drinking game, so I don't know fully how much I had to drink. I obviously was probably drunk at this point. Detective says, Gooch says, prior to that point, how much had you had to drink up to the point that you don't remember how much you had to drink? Could you answer that question? If you got drunk one night, right? And someone said, what drink did it for you? Was it number 5, number 20? I wouldn't be able to tell you. I say, well, I was sort of getting buzzed at number 3 and I was blacked out, shit faced drunk at 10. I don't, you know what I mean? I don't know how I'd answer that. So Dylan says, so like after the nap, I had about 3 or 4 drinks of seltzers. I'm pretty sure. And Sergeant Blaker said, like, what type of seltzers? And she says, like, just White Claws. And then Detective Gooch says, is that 8%? And Dylan Mortensen says, those are 5%. I wouldn't have known. Those are 5, so you're doing the lower end. Yeah, that's what we usually would always drink. Hold on. Um, I worked for White Claw once. I did promotions for them at a tennis match. Just letting you know. If you want to be cool like me. So I guess they do have 8%. Wow, those cops knew that? Like, they were just like, "Oh, you were drinking the 5%, not the 8%." I had to look it up just to make sure. Oh, thank you. Oh, thank you, Tiff. They love you guys too. Actually sleeping. The Weimaraner, when she snores, she'll put me to sleep. She has like this hum. There she goes. She's made a big old snore. Okay. So as she says, so this Robin, this isn't a question of interrogation. It isn't to jam up Dylan. Were you doing anything else besides the alcohol? And Dylan says, no, me and Bethany never have. Xana and Ethan, they would take Adderall every now and then, but that was the only thing they would ever do. Maddie would never, ever. Kaylee, I remember talking about it once when she did Adderall, but that was it. I mean, Xana and Ethan were very smart. They were not like stupid with drugs at all. I remember all I heard about of them doing was Adderall. That's the only thing I've ever heard of. Me and Bethany were never like, we just never touched that stuff. Good kids. Detective Gooch, you just did alcohol? Yes. You just drank? Just drank. That's the only thing we do. We're at Allie's or Kennedy's place. I was having a good time. My friend Lake, do you know what a Borg is? People do Borgs. It's like those huge water jugs. You pour alcohol, put vodka and whatever. It's supposed to be like get you really drunk or whatever. What the fuck's a Borg? A Borg? Okay. I'm looking it up. Borg drink. We had Harry Buffalo. Remember those? You put the alcohol in, then you put your fruit in, you let your fruit like soak. And then you like get your cup, your little solo cup, have your little drinky drink, eat your fruit. That's what we did. And then Boone's Farm. Maybe some Mad Dog 2020. But like the stuff they do now, okay, Borg is short for Black Outrage Gallon. Okay, we gotta get an image of this. Oh, okay. So it's like you put it in like a milk container, water container or something, you know? And then you just drink it all? Do you think I should do that one night? That'd be fun. I'm just kidding. I would die. I'm trying to see what they put in it, but it's like they write little things like on them too. Like this guy right here better put him a little more in there because he's cheating. He's cheating. I never heard of that either. I was gonna say if I didn't hear, I always like I'll look stuff up because I feel like sometimes if I don't know, maybe there's someone else out there that don't know too. That's crazy. You just be carrying that jug around. Who has time for that? I mean, we do carry Stanleys around, but I don't even carry that around. So it says here, okay, it says it's like those huge water jugs. You pour alcohol, put vodka and whatever in there. Okay. It's supposed to be like get you really drunk or whatever. Well, hell yeah. Oh, you know what it reminds me of? Those little fishbowl drinks that you used to be able to get at Ugly Tuna Saloona. You know, the Brian Schaefer case where he went missing? You get these big bowls, fish bowls. They were like $16. Best $16 you'd spend. Like obviously had drinking a whole Borg. Lake obviously had drinking a whole Borg and she was very drunk and I didn't want her to walk home. So she had been talking to this guy named Hayden. He's a super sweet guy. I really like him. I was like, okay, well, I can take Lake with me to go home and we can watch Vampire Diaries and just cook popcorn, So at a fraternity, they have sub bros. which are freshmen that are supposed to be sober for that night so that they can drive people home. That's a great idea. I told Hayden, I was like, "Hey, can you get us Sobro so we don't have to walk?" I mean, the walk's not terrible, but like she cannot walk very well. We get the Sobro. Jenna was going to come with us, my friend, but she ended up staying at Kennedy's, I believe. I don't know where she went exactly because me and Lake got in the car. I don't know who the guys were that drove us, but like I trust them because Hayden knew them. I trust Hayden. They were all part of 5Gs. And they just are known to be, like, super nice, trustworthy guys. I wonder if she still, like, feels that way about people, like, she puts a lot of you know what I mean? I like them, I trust them, I hope she does, I hope she doesn't lose that, that's you know what I mean? So it says, "We get home, no one is home, so we go upstairs. The house is kind of a mess, obviously, because we just had that party Friday, Saturday, we were drinking, whatever." Detective Gooch says, "What time is this that you go home?" Dylan says, "Let me check again. I don't know if I have," and it says, "an audible photo." "What do you call the freshman that stays sober?" "Sobros." "Sobros, thank you." Dylan says, "Yeah, so it was definitely after 1 AM because I have a video of Lake dancing at 1. So I guess at first I thought it was 1, but it could have been 1:30. I don't know. I was intoxicated. I don't fully remember. I'm going to say around 1:15 to 1:30ish. That could be wrong." She's very honest, at least, you know? Detective Gooch says, "That was on Sunday morning." Sergeant Blaker says, "Do you know?" And then Dylan says, "Yes, I guess, yeah." And then Sergeant Blaker says, "Do you know who the sober brother was who gave you the ride?" She just said she didn't know who they were. "No, but like I can text Hayden and he would know." And then Sergeant Blaker said, "Okay." So continues with what's happened. So we get home, there's popcorn. I also make like just a bowl of popcorn for me and Lake, and I put Vampire Diaries on, I think. I don't know for sure, but I think around 20 minutes later, Bethany came home and we just laid down and watched Vampire Diaries. When I first did this interview, I thought it was around 2 when I went to bed, but it could have been later. I don't fully remember. Again, I was kind of out of it. I was drunk. And she's talking about the previous one that we went over. At some point, I did go in my bed. Lake ended up sobering up, but she walked home. I told her she could get a ride, but she wanted to walk home. I said, "Okay." She's lucky. Detective Gooch says, "Do you know what time that would have been?" And Dylan said, "I don't know when she left. I mean, that was like a normal thing. Like you never worried in Moscow. It was just normal just to walk home. I don't know what time Lake and Bethany went to bed. I have no clue. I remember waking up somewhere between 2 or 2:30. Again, I don't fully remember. I heard Maddie and Kaylee come home. Again, the walls are pretty thin. Like you can hear everything." It's crazy too because I have 2 things pinned up here at the top. One article is that somebody that used to live there, and they said that you could hear everything on every floor, and then there's an article from somebody else that used to live there, and they say that you can't hear nothing. Like, you couldn't hear from the 1st floor to the 2nd floor if the TV was on and stuff. Like, it was just like, I don't know, they contradict each other, so, but she's saying that the walls were paper thin. Okay. It says, "So Maddie and Kaylee get home from the club. I noticed they had grub trucks, so it's just that video that's going around, it's them at the grub truck. They usually just get mac and cheese. So I can tell they got home from the grub truck because they got mac and cheese and they take an Uber home. I have like a video of us. Let me see what time that's at." Wonder what the video is. Detective Gooch says, "Oh, you got a video? Oh, you got up and took a video." Dylan says, "I went up, so pretty much I don't remember where Bethany was, but she was upstairs with Maddie and Kaylee in Kaylee's room. I went up there to say hi and hang out with them, 4A," and it stops. Look, and this is at 9:11:56, and then we don't go back to 12:29. And then Detective Gooch says, so you went to bed after that communication. There must have been some sort of what communication? What'd they talk about? Yes, after that communication. So at 3:15. So now she's went to bed at 3:15. Dylan says, I don't fully remember, but I think I was watching on my phone, watching Vampire Diaries for a little bit. I don't know how long. I don't know for sure if I was or wasn't. Again, I don't know if I locked my door. I had to have locked my door, but I don't know if I did, and I don't remember. I'm usually the one that locks the sliding door at night because Zan and Ethan would get up and forget to lock it. I don't know who locked it that night. I don't know if anyone else. I don't believe I locked it, but it also wasn't like, oh, you have to lock it. Like Moscow always seemed like a super safe place. Like you walk home at night drunk by yourself or with one other girl. Like that's just the norm of Moscow. That's like my little town too. So I fell asleep. I was usually when I am drunk, I fall asleep a lot better. Like during the weekdays, I get a lot more scared about things, but on the weekends, because I have been intoxicated and I'm obviously drunk, I sleep a lot better, like a lot deeper sleep, I would say. So she must have some anxiety right here. Do you suffer from anxiety? Dylan said yes. Never mind. Detective Gooch says before this, yes, I've always been like freaking out. I remember one time I thought my door handle was turned, but it wasn't. I was just freaking out. So I have a lot of that. And I have talked to my therapist about this, but I have a lot of lucid dreams of being like kidnapped or chased. This is sad. I could control what's happening and I know I'm dreaming. So I have a lot of those kinds of dreams. I'm always kind of freaked out about that stuff. Detective Gooch said, did this happen even before this event? And then Dylan said, "Oh, this has been like a huge thing." How old were you when those started? Dylan said, "I would say I would say in high schoolish, I would say I've always just kind of had those. Like they never scared me because I knew I was dreaming. I was like, "Oh, it's just a dream. Like I'll just." And then Detective Gooch interrupts. Did you say you have control in the dreams? Well, yeah, she just said she has control in the dreams because she knows she's in a dream. Hey, Huck. Welcome in, everybody. I know paper thin walls, right? I know the first time I've heard that. I'm telling y'all, we're going to be hearing things that are new that we haven't heard before. Coming from like these people, you know what I mean? From the residents, we've heard it from other people that lived there previously, but I mean, did they really live there? I think they did, but Um, And Dylan said, yeah. So my thing was, it's kind of weird, but my therapist said this is very normal. Like I knew I was dreaming. So like it would be like, oh, like someone's chasing me, someone's trying to kill me. I would just let it happen because I would wake up and I would be fine. Damn. I was like, okay, that was just a dream. Like it never scared me really when I had those dreams because I knew I was dreaming. Okay. What if Koberger would have went in there into her room when she was in bed, let's say, right? And she thought she was dreaming. And she just laid there. You know what I mean? Like was just laying there like, oh, it's just a dream. Oh man. And then Detective Gooch said, did you ever have to have anti-anxiety medication? And then Dylan said no. Detective Gooch said nothing. She said, I mean, I didn't have like anxiety. Well, yeah, you did, honey. It was just kind of like I always had kind of the worst situation in my mind, but it wasn't like it didn't really affect my life. You had the worst situation possible in your mind all the time. That affects your life. Oh man. But it was just like at night I was inaudible because I would watch Criminal Minds. I would fall asleep to crime podcast. I don't know why. So it planted a seed. Yes. You don't have prior trauma, do you? No, I mean, and then she cuts her off again. You don't. And she says, no, nothing like that. Like, I have divorced parents, but nothing of crime or trauma, anything like that. Divor Divorced parents is traumatic. That's freaking traumatic, in my opinion. So those movies, do they rent space in your head? I mean, this is a question. Yeah, obviously, I loved gory movies. I don't know why. I just love the adrenaline, that kind of stuff, and it probably messed up my brain a little bit at night. I remember waking up 4 o'clock, 4:20. I have text from me and Kaylee at 4. I mean, just text from me to her at 4:20. Let me make sure. Detective Gooch says, "Well, I have to step back because I forgot to ask you. After the initial White Claws, what else did you consume? Because you had the 3 White Claws you told us." She had the gallon. So, Dylan says, "So, yes, so there were 3 White Claws of Sigma Chi. Going to Allie's house, I had some of Lake's Borg. Obviously, Rage Cage. I don't know what they put in it. I don't believe it's hard alcohol. I think it was just seltzers. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was just seltzers. I don't remember it being any hard alcohol. It's called Rage Cage," Detective Gooch said. Dylan said, "Yes, it's just a drinking game. I had a little bit of, I don't know how much I would say of Lake's Borg, which obviously has like vodka." Inaudible. "I don't know how much. I don't know how much I drank, but obviously some of that. And then I would say I probably had like 2 or 3 more drinks, maybe a few more." She can hold her liquor. "And what were they?" "Also White Claws." "Oh, okay." Dylan says, "Yeah." "And where were they at home?" And Dylan says, "What do you mean?" Detective Gooch says, "Did you drink them at home?" "I think this was at Allie's house." "Okay, did you drink anything at home?" "No." "When you made the popcorn?" "No." So the drinking had stopped. The drinking always stops once you get home normally. You put your jammies on, got your popcorn, you're done. Once we left Allie's house, it stopped. So around 2 o'clock. Basically, based off what you told us. Dylan said, "I think so. I don't fully know. I'm like trying to think again because I know the last video I have is at Allie's house was Lake dancing at. Let me look at that again. That was at 12:57. So I would say 1:15, 1:30 I left, just basing off these videos that I have. So we got back sober home. Obviously, what we watched, Vampire Diaries, had popcorn, and it says Maddie, and Detective Gooch says again, no more alcohol. She's already said they didn't drink any more alcohol. Like, are they just to ask them, just see if they changed like their questions up? I don't know. Yeah, hit the like for me. That'd be so great if you guys could get me some likes. Also, don't forget to subscribe because we're very, very close to hitting 25,000 subscribers. We'll do a giveaway, and I will be like extremely excited about that. That, a lot of hard work from all of us. So it says here, she says no more alcohol. So then I guess I told you that rest of that part. So Detective Gooch, she says, "So you're on your bed. You said, so we interrupted you. You awakened at 4 o'clock, somewhere between 4 and 4:20 a.m. "Oh yeah, I have texts that I text Kaylee. So on my phone it says 5:22 because the time change. But Moscow's an hour behind. In Moscow, it's weird. Like Ada County, it's mountain time, right? But if you go up to Moscow, it's specific time. It's like it's weird. It is weird. So where are we at? So it says 5:22 because the time change, but Moscow's an hour behind. So at 4:22 in Moscow, I guess will that change also my Snapchat video times?" And Detective Gooch says yes. And then Sergeant Blaker, "It might." Well, they're on the same page. Dylan said, "So then all of this would be an hour behind. That's kind of messed everything up. Sorry, then I guess everything would be an hour behind." She didn't know. Detective Gooch, "But on your phone now, you're saying at 4:22 you text Kaylee." "Yeah, for the first time." And Dylan said, "But now since we're in Boise, it changed to 5:22. I don't really know why. Because we're an hour ahead." No, they're an hour. Well, yeah, an hour and ahead. It would be an hour and ahead. Okay. Yeah, an hour and ahead, and made sure because I sent a screenshot to my mom that had my time and it showed my mom's time. It obviously switched over because of Boise time. Sorry, that really confused me. And then Detective Gooch said, "When did you text her?" Dylan Mortensen said, "I said, Kaylee, what's going on? Please answer." And Detective Gooch said, "Why did you ask that?" So I'll start from there. 4 a.m., around 4 a.m., 4:20. I don't know if I was still drunk, probably was. I don't know for sure. I was really asleep. I like woke up out of nowhere. I heard her playing music. Detective Gooch said, "How do you know it was her though? I guess I should ask that." Dylan said, I don't really know for sure why I knew it was her, but I think it's because I heard her voice and she was probably singing. I know for sure it was her when she walked upstairs and she said, "Someone's here." That's how I knew for sure that it was Kaylee. So pretty much like walked up the stairs normal, wasn't weird or anything. And I was like, okay, I can go back to bed. Detective Gooch said, "So she like shouted out to you, 'Somebody's here'?" And Dylan said, "Not to me. I don't know if she knew I was awake, but so we walked up the stairs with Murphy." That must be wrong. I think she got to almost about the top of the stairs just by how many like stomps there was. I think there's 8 and then 9 stairs. And she said, "Someone's here," frantically, but it wasn't a yell because I know for a fact it wasn't like a yell or shout because Bethany did not hear. And from what I heard, it's like between talking and yelling. Like it wasn't yelling, it was between there. Again, I believe I was also very drunk. I don't know how much of this is real. Like I don't know if it was my mind, if my mind was like doing whatever. And now it's 12:48 to 1:11. That's weird. I don't know any of this. Like half of this stuff, I don't know if it's a dream or if it's real. I just have no clue. But in that moment of what I think I heard was her saying, "Someone's here." Again, I think it was more like between talking and yelling. I don't know for sure. Maybe they should have had her demonstrate. Like, Dylan, can you demonstrate how loud you think that it was? Was it "Someone's here"? Or was it "Someone's here"? But really loud. Like, I would have asked. From what I remember, I think she like ran down the stairs pretty fast and just stopped. That's when I text her, I believe. It's like I just kind of like, what in the world? Like, what is this? Like, doesn't make sense. And I didn't think anything was wrong because nothing ever bad happens in Moscow ever. So then Detective Gooch said, "Did Kaylee sound stressed?" Dylan said, "Yes, kind of, I think. I don't know for sure." What was Murphy doing? Was he barking? I think he was barking. Again, I don't fully remember fully. I think he was barking. Detective Gooch, is Murphy a barker? Does Murphy bark at strangers? Those dogs usually do. Dylan Mortensen said, "We don't get a lot of strangers, so I don't know. I don't know. I think so." What would make Murphy bark? What normally, under normal circumstances, would make Murphy bark? He just wasn't really much of a barker. Oh, that's surprising. That breed usually barks. But you heard him barking, you think, and Dylan said, "Yeah, I think so from what I think I heard." Yeah. Murphy was barking because he was saying, "Get the hell off my mom and my aunt." And then Detective Gooch said, "Can I step back a second?" Yeah. Dylan said, "Okay, let me ask you this because you've been consuming alcohol, but I have to ask you because you go to the therapist or you have gone to the therapist, but the only thing that you described that's ever happened to you that if it is traumatic when your parents divorced." Why are you getting all personal and shit? Like, I mean, I'm like, that's a little personal. And Dylan said, "Yeah." Detective Gooch said, "Are you going to a therapist because of the divorce or because of other things?" "You talking about right now?" And Sergeant Blaker said, "Before. No, prior to this." So, like, obviously, I have a therapist right now for this, but in the past, I did go to a therapist like once or twice because of divorced parents, and that was it. I never had therapy for anything else. Detective Gooch said, "So you weren't under any treatment for counseling?" Dylan said, "No, nothing like that. No. So you don't have any mental health issues?" And Dylan said, "No." And then Detective Gooch said, "That predates this." Dylan said, "Yeah, no. Other than sadness over yeah, I've never had," and then the divorce. Dylan said, like, obviously, yes, I've probably been sad about my parents being divorced. Some stuff going some stuff going through that, but nothing like mentally anything. I've never had counseling for it. Yes, I went to therapy, like, I remember, like, 2 or 3 times, and then we just never went. I didn't really feel like going again, didn't really seem like I needed it. So, and then Detective Gooch says, "And you worked through whatever issues presented at the time during the divorce?" And she says, "Yeah." "On your own?" "Yeah." Well, no, she had a little bit of counseling. She just said she went to counseling a few times, but Detective Gooch says, "Sounds like with a little assistance, but for the most part on your own." Dylan said, "Yeah." Detective Gooch said, "So you heard Murphy barking. Murphy's barked before?" "Nope, not a day in his life. He's like a newborn baby that's never cried." I mean, come on, that's a dumb question to ask. Dylan said, "I mean, like, so when in the backyard there's dogs out there and he would bark at them, I don't think he normally barked at people. Again, I don't like remember fully. I'm just guessing off of what I think, but I think I remember hearing barking when Kaylee said that. And I just like something about her like running down the stairs really fast because how fast she was stomping, I think. Remember, I'm telling you, there is somewhere where she was talking about those damn boots, like the Doc Martens. I swear she was. Detective Gooch said, "You could hear that." Well, yeah, if she's going down the stairs, it's right beside her bedroom door. Dylan said, "Yeah, from what I don't know if it's like real or if my mind's just like drunk and awake. I just don't really know." And then Gooch said, "Well, that's important for us. So, well, if she's drunk, she doesn't know. We can't tell you whether or not that was reality or." And Dylan said, "Yeah, I mean, I have no clue. I keep trying to remember, but I don't know what's real and what's not pretty much from that night. And it's kind of frustrating not knowing at all. I don't remember who I called first. I don't remember when I called them. I guess I could look on Sunday from my phone." And then Detective Gooch said, "Was this at the time you heard Kaylee running?" "Yes." And then the detective says, "Okay, let me look from Sunday. What's Kaylee saying?" The detective asked. "She just said someone's here and then nothing else from what I remember." Sergeant Blaker said, "But it sounded like you said you heard her say someone's here, then heard the frantic yelling." That's what she just said. Someone's here. I don't know. I guess and nothing else. Maybe that's why. Yes, that's what I think I remember. Okay, so could tell that. And Dylan says, "So like she walked," and Sergeant Blaker said she was wearing shoes or not wearing shoes. There it is. Doc Martens. I knew it. I knew I saw that. I knew I wasn't nuts. I'm not nuts. Hey, Poisonous Penny. Hey, RJ. How you doing? Hey, Cheryl. Welcome in, everybody. Hey, Colleen. I need to start looking over here. I got y'all over here, and I keep forgetting to look over there. So, okay, I knew that I saw that somewhere. I mean, I've never seen this document, but I know about them Doc Martens. It said somewhere else. So it says, I think she was wearing because all the girls like wear those Doc Martens, whatever. I think it was those. Again, I don't know. I have no clue. Like those shoes are very heavy. You like to wear. You would maybe know if that compared to a tennis shoe, maybe. And I think there was a Doc Martin actually in the middle of the living room found. Um, and obviously, it wouldn't have been Kaylee because Kaylee was killed with no shoes on, with one sock, I think, partially off. Maybe he took her shoes off. I don't think he did, though. No, because she was in her jammies. So, Dylan said, but I'm pretty sure it was shoes because of how loud it was. Again, I don't know for sure. From looking at my phone, okay, so I called Bethany at 4:19 AM, which I don't know. I guess I called Bethany before I text Kaylee, and I think that's when she said something about a firecracker, which I thought she was saying that like someone threw fireworks in our house because she heard like I don't know what she heard, and something about like a light. I guess you talked to her. I don't fully know. I don't understand it. I was out of it, obviously, probably still tipsy and just woke up. I thought she meant someone threw fireworks in our house, which didn't make any sense. So after that, I called Xana at 4:20 AM, and then next I called Kaylee as well at 4:20 AM. Detective G, I'm gonna call him, or call her. And what did you and what did you leave a message or anything? Dylan said no, and then I called Bethany again at 4:20. I don't really know why, and then I called Maddie at 4:21, then Maddie at 4 o'clock. Then Kaylee at 4:27. So you never left your room. So after I heard Kaylee say that, from what I can think, I can remember, is I opened the door and I do remember like looking up the stairs and then looking to the side, and I could see the living room, but not fully. And I just remember like seeing nothing. So I shut the door and I locked it because I was freaking out. Like, I didn't know if there was a guy there. I didn't know if anybody was there or not. I don't know. I opened the door again. Again, I don't know if this was real or if my mind was just playing with me. But from what I think I heard was someone was crying in the bathroom, and I think it was Kaylee, but I don't know. I couldn't tell, and I was just. Then Sergeant Blaker said, which bathroom? And then Dylan says, the one me and Xana share on the second floor. And then Detective Gooch says, so the second time you opened your door? Yes, she says. And again, I don't know for sure if this was in the bathroom, just like what I think happened from what I think I heard and all that. And then from after like the crying, I think I heard someone like this guy's voice I never heard in my life just saying like, no, like, it's okay. I'm going to help you. But it wasn't in this nice way. It was in a weird, creepy way from what I think I can remember. You ain't the first one to say he's creepy. Does anyone else find it kind of funny that she used that word, creepy, and everyone else did too? Be a creepy. Sit it down, girlfriend. She scratches at her bed. She's already put a hole in her other one. She does. Like a good girl. So she's like, I haven't heard that creep's voice in my entire life. You know what would have been a good idea? Maybe like a voice comparison. Like, get him to say, no, like, it's okay. I'm here to help you. I'm going to help you. And then have Dylan listen to it. I know it would be like, that would be very traumatic, right? But I'd probably, if I was Dylan, I probably would have asked for that. Just for, he did it, right? Because obviously he said he did. But I don't know. I think I would kind of want that reassurance. Just that double extra reassurance. It says, and again, I don't know anything for sure. I think I called out for Kaylee and Xana because it was the second floor, and I was just like, Kaylee, Xana. And so if someone was there, they would have heard me, and I don't know. That's what I'm thinking too. Detective Gooch said, so when you heard his voice, where would he have been when you heard it? I think the bathroom. I don't think they were in the bathroom. I think they were like right outside the bathroom, like under that light that's there in the hallway. And I think that their voices could have been like traveling into the bathroom and echoing maybe. but maybe not. Maybe Xana didn't make it to her bedroom. Maybe Xana made it to the bathroom when she was running, and she just dipped into the bathroom thinking maybe she could hide from him, and then he runs into the bathroom, and that's when he says, "I'm here to help you." Like, that could be it. Um, and it says here that it just seemed too distant from the living room, so I just I think, like, in my mind, just suggested, "Okay, bathroom." That's what I think I hear. Like, I think it's about the bathroom. And the Detective G says, "And what was it again?" He said, "I'm sorry." He said, "No." He said, "It's okay. I'm going to help you." I think that's what he said. Again, everything's kind of fuzzy still. I don't fully remember. Detective Gooch says, "Was it directed at you?" No, I think what he was why is this wrong? Okay, I hate this. It's 140 here, and then we don't come back to 149. Like, no, I don't I think what he was and we don't get the rest. You guys are mean. So then Dylan says, "No, well, I guess I shouldn't say no. I don't know for sure, but from what I," and then Detective Gooch says, "Do you remember if Murphy was barking?" We already went over Murphy. Dylan said, "I don't think so. I think he was only barking when Kaylee said something, and then I think he left the house." When sounds get more distant and you can hear them getting more distant, that's what I thought I heard. And I think he went out of the house, like, out the back door, which means that door, I think it would have been open. And it was, and I bet you maybe Murphy found his way back home. I mean, it was cold out that night. He might have, I mean, he's a smart dog. Sergeant Blaker said, "Is he a very skittish dog?" Dylan said, "I mean, he's a puppy. I don't know if I would say skittish. I mean, is he easy to scare?" I don't think so. I don't really know for sure. I mean, I only met him in August, so I wouldn't know him a ton. I guess you could say, I mean, he's still like a puppy. I think he was 11 months old in November, I think. And then it says, Detective Gooch says, "I have to go back because we recorded this." Dylan said, "Yeah." When you say he left the house, you're talking about the dog. Dylan said the dog. And Detective Gooch said, and Dylan said Murphy, not the subject that was in the house. From what I thought and from how I could hear him barking, I thought he had left the house. Okay. And was that the second time or the first time? Because the first time it happened when you opened your door. Dylan said, "First time was when I guess when I opened the door, I think I just looked around. I didn't hear any barking. Then I closed the door. And that's when I think I heard I could tell barking. I mean, Murphy was barking out, leaving, I guess. I don't know. Moving away from the property. I don't really understand it. My mind's like things are just almost like in this place, I guess." Detective Gooch says, "Because you've been through a lot." And Dylan said, "Yeah." And then detective says, "A lot of trauma." And Dylan said, "It just doesn't make sense. None of it makes sense at all. I feel there's pieces missing that I don't understand why." Maybe some people that are the pro burgers out there, they believe that, Brian didn't do this alone or didn't do it at all. Maybe they would like Dylan. Maybe she holds, an open mind. I don't know. Because she's saying that some of this doesn't make sense to her. And it said, could it be the alcohol as well? Yeah. Yeah, that's what I thought. So after the crying and the guy's voice, I shut the door again. I locked it. I kept opening and locking it. Detective Gooch said, "Did you continue to call?" Mortensen said, "I don't know. So I can see I called Kaylee at 4:27 a.m. and then I called Xana at 4:28. So I don't know when those calls were between opening and locking the door from those 3 times because I think I opened the door 3 times and then shut it 3 times." So I don't know when those calls were in between. Actually, it would be 4 times because she left the room to go to Bethany's, right? Wasn't it 3 times before Bethany's, I think? So, I don't know, maybe. Um, I think I opened the door 3 times and then shut it 3 times, so I don't know when those calls were in between. I thought maybe I called Bethany the first or second time, but then I don't know. It could be before I opened the door, I just don't know. Detective Gooch says, "Were you processing any danger? Was your" and she says, "No, it was just like I mean, obviously, I was scared because I was like, 'Why is there someone in the house?' But, like, when I thought about it, I was just like, I mean, we had parties here a lot, people come in and out all the time. It's normal for people to come in, like, with other people. Like, that's not weird. But, I mean, I just didn't understand, like, what was going on. Like, it didn't make sense to me at all. Like, I never would have thought, oh, like an intruder, murderer, like, that never crossed my mind once. That's why I don't understand." And that wouldn't cross your mind. Like, these kids are from Moscow, freaking Idaho. In not Idaho known for potatoes or something? I mean, they're just known for potatoes. What's Ohio known for? I don't know. And if you guys don't mind, will you hit the like button for me? And if you haven't, already, subscribe to the channel. We do talk true crime daily here on this channel. So if you'd like to subscribe, we're trying to hit 25,000 subscribers and we're very, very close. We're like, I don't know. How many did I say? 23 or something away? So, okay. It says here, so I want to take it from the first time I heard the story, the perspective I had, not your story, but hearing it from the detective sergeant. That's what Detective Gooch said. Dylan Mortensen said, uh-huh. Detective Gooch, okay. I thought this is why it's important that the offender was talking to you. And she says, no, that you're going to be okay. No, no, no. She's like, that wasn't me. It was directed at the person. And it's inaudible from Dylan. Detective Gooch said, crying and Dylan said, yeah, bathroom. Sorry if that got mixed up, but like, and then Detective Gooch said, no, you're not. You're fine. And then, yeah, this is why it's important. What do you think that person was talking? Who do you think that person was talking to? And Dylan said, I think it was Kaylee. And I think the guy was talking to Kaylee in what I think was the bathroom. That would make no sense. That's important. But do you see my perspective? Dylan said, yeah, that makes more sense. Yeah. Detective Gooch says, that means he knows you and he wants to protect you. And that would be important for his investigation. What? What? What are they talking about? Wants to protect you? Who? That means he knows. Is she trying to say that? I don't know. We're gonna keep reading. That means, yeah, that makes more sense. So obviously, I locked the door the second time. I don't remember. I don't know who I called before or after, whatever. It's on your phone, though, huh? Yeah, it's on my phone. So, did you ever call anyone outside the house? No, it didn't cross my mind. I was just calling my roommates. It's like my closest friends who I trust. I called Ethan at one point. I mean, let me go on Snapchat. I don't know if it's still there or not. The detective said, if it is, can you take a screenshot of it so we don't lose it? And she said, yes. And nobody's answering the phone. What about Bethany? She answered the phone. And what did she say? I don't remember when I called her. I don't know at all. I have the text, but I just remember her saying about that the firecracker fireworks, that's all I remember. I don't remember what I said to her. And it just says Sunday, Ethan couldn't talk. Do you want me to screenshot still? And they say, yeah. Timeline is inaudible. So there's no time on it. And Dylan says, I don't really know why, but. And then Detective Gooch says, is that your Snapchat? No, it's someone else's. What do you mean? Is that your. Yeah, that was through Snapchat because I don't have his number, but the reason I called Ethan is because, like, Ethan is the one that we trusted. It was like if Ethan and Audible, then we're staying because me and Bethany were always freaked out at that house. That's a little weird. You and Bethany are always freaked out about I mean, I might be freaked out living in that house too. It's kind of weird and big. Like someone was going to, I don't know. Hold on. Me and Bethany are always kind of freaked out by that stuff, and we'd hear Ethan and be like, "Okay, Ethan's here, like we're safe. Doesn't matter, he's 6'3", big guy, like we're safe." That's why I called him, but he obviously didn't answer, and I thought maybe he's still at Sigma Chi or he was at home. I don't know. And then Detective Gooch says, "Do you think that was somewhere between 4:20 and 4:27?" And she says, "I have no clue." And then detective says, "Okay." I don't have any memory really. So obviously, after I heard what I think I heard was crying in the bathroom and that guy talking to Kaylee, I opened the door again. And that's Detective Gooch says, "Is that the third time?" Dylan Mortensen says, "Yes, this is the third time." And I don't know how I knew it was someone because it was from my mind. It's like I was almost wearing these like blurry glasses. Like it's so fuzzy and cloudy, but it's like a figure of someone wearing all black. And it was like they had this ski mask that was covering their forehead and their chin and mouth. But I could see all I could remember is seeing their eyebrows, and I don't know what their eyes look like, but I remember the eyebrows. I don't remember the color of the eyebrows. I just remember like bushy eyebrows. That's all I can think about. And he was holding this item. I kept calling it a mini vacuum, which makes absolutely no sense. Why would he be holding a mini vacuum? Like I just remember thinking that. Hell, it could be a mini vacuum. He liked the vacuum at night. And then Detective Gooch said, "It made you think he was a male?" And Dylan said, "Yes, because of the voice I heard. I don't think he was female at all. And from what I remember, he was like, from looking at him, was like the figure of what I saw was about my height, maybe a few inches taller." That's how I knew. And then when I got interviewed the first and second time, they were like, "What's the shape?" And I remember saying, like, from what that moment of seeing him, I think he was like more he wasn't like muscular, but he wasn't like super skinny. So it was like and it was like skinny tone, that basketball type, kind of skinny but toned, like a runner maybe. Somebody that runs, that could be it. And then they said how tall, and Dylan said, I think maybe my height, maybe a few inches taller." Detective Gooch, "And how tall are you?" "I'm 5'10", so I think it could have been around 5'10" and 6 foot, somewhere around there. "Where is he at in the house when you first encounter him?" So my room, so it's like, say it's right here. Do little signs like she would probably do. Right here, that's like this. So this side, like I have the kitchen. So the kitchen, the other side's the living room. I think he was walking past my door, like going out of Xana's room. Um, on the other side of the living room, I think he was walking past my door and like saw me. I mean, he had to. If it's like, if I did see this, if I did, like, it's all real and it's not like imagination dream. Like, if it's is real, let's just say that it is for somehow he had to have heard me call for Kaylee and Xana when I heard Kaylee crying in the bathroom, from what I think I heard. I agree too. Like, why didn't he go find her? If she's seriously calling for Xana and Kaylee and hooting and hollering, maybe he was just tired. He just was like, "I'm out." Where were we at? Um, so he had to heard whenever she called for Kaylee and Xana, when I heard Kaylee crying in the bathroom, for what I think I heard. "How many feet away is he from you?" I would say about 3 feet from what I remember. Wish I had a measuring tape. What's 3 feet? Like that? That's about 3 feet. They say that if your arms are stretched out, right, you're supposed to be the length, like your body's supposed to be the length of your arms. Is that right? So I'd be 5'8". I don't know. I mean, like 3 feet is nothing. Hey, PJs. Hey, Colleen. Hey, Dee. Thank you. Okay. I was just reading the chat. Sorry. Um, I would say about 3 feet from what I remember. Again, that could be off because I was obviously probably still a little bit drunk. I remember I think she said oh, sorry, I hit the mic. She opened her door and he was on that ledge. So when you walk into the house, I wish I had the pictures of the house. I just had them up too. Shame on me. Okay. When you walk from the living room, that little hallway that like where Dylan's room is, and then you can go like to the kitchen to the right, there is a 4-inch step that goes down right there. I don't know how Koberger didn't trip over that thing. I don't know. I don't know how he didn't. But that's like 4 inches. So for her to like base that and then be that drunk, look at him and be able to base that ledge. Do you know what I mean? That he's standing on and be like, okay, he's more like 6 foot, not 6'4" or something, it's pretty good of her actually. So it says, again, that could be a little off because I was probably still a little bit drunk. I just woke up. I don't remember fully, but I remember what I think I remember was like this item. And it was like what I explained was like it looked like this cylinder little thing that was skinny like this, like about this long. I wish she could like demonstrate. And then it went like a triangle almost at the end. And I remember one of the cops saying like a bow or something. I can't remember something about that, and it was like the bow and arrow kind of stuff. So would it I'm gonna go to sporting goods store. I used to work at one. It says, "Where was it at when he was holding it? Where was it?" Dylan said, "I don't know. I think it was lower or could have been higher, but it's in his hands." Yeah, when I remembered it, it was like when I saw him, I thought firefighter, like because of what Bethany said, firecrackers. So I was like, okay, firefighter. Maybe he's like holding it to take out the fire. But when I thought about this, fire didn't even like occur to me like it's a bad thing. Hold on a second. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. She didn't talk to Bethany until like 4:20 something, right? Like after. Am I right about that? When didn't she call Bethany and Bethany answered after like after Koberger had left and then that's when she ran down. That was the 4 times she opened the door and she ran down. It's just that's just weird. I don't know. I might be the one that's wrong, but we all keep reading. Spill the tea, Dylan. It says like maybe he's like holding it to take out the fire, but then I thought about this. Fire didn't even like occur to me like it's a bad thing. Like, I never thought, "Oh, fire, we have to get out." That didn't occur to me at all. I just thought fire by, like, he's going to help us. And it wasn't like, "Oh, there's an intruder." Like, this is bad. Like, she's like, "Oh my gosh." It didn't even occur to me, I don't know why. And I know he looked at me because I see his eyebrows, and I think I just saw one eyebrow. I don't know why or how, but I just remember him, like, what I think I saw, he was walking out and he saw me, but just kept walking. Like, he didn't stop. He didn't, like, say anything to me, and I remember saying, "No, no, no." And I just remember saying, "No, no, no," and I slammed the door and locked it. What? Okay, I ain't never heard that before. So he had to have heard her, because I was wondering how she didn't physically, like, slam the door or physically scream, or you know what I mean? Like, because it would be very, very hard to not scream if there's an intruder in your house, someone you've never seen before. You're 19, he's 28. That's a big difference when you're 19 and 28. I'm sorry. So, I mean, because she was drunk. She was pissed drunk. I mean, and she was allowed to be, right? She knows what's gonna happen. I wouldn't be able to be interviewed. If I was drunk and then they, like, called me, my memory's gone. In my 20s, it was gone. So, it says he didn't, like, say anything to me, and I just remember saying, "No, no, no," and I slammed the door and locked it, and that was, like, all I remember. Maybe he didn't hear her until she slammed that door, and then he's like, "I ain't even trying to bust in that door," you know? Um, and I don't know if he actually went out the back door. That's what I think happened. Some people think front, some people think back. I think the front sometimes, but I'm beginning to think the back though. So, um, and it says, and I don't know if he actually went out the back door. That's what I think happened. And then the detective said, "So is that the sliding door?" That's the sliding door. I don't know for sure. That's just what I think I saw in my mind. And the detective said, "What did you do?" So maybe there's something on your phone that you did immediately afterwards in relation to what you saw. Dylan said, "I'm looking at texts between me and Bethany real quick." When did these texts start? Did he not say anything to you? And that's at 5:04. And then this, like, look, this is to you. This isn't even a correct sentence. Like, did he say anything to you? And this is out, but it wasn't like, you know what I mean? Like, and then they don't come back till 5:50. What are y'all talking about? Okay, so it says out. We'll just read it anyway. But it wasn't like in Moscow, like a tiny town. You never have to worry about that. It's never like, oh, this is bad. Like, it just isn't. I never thought about it. Like, robbing never crossed my mind. Well, it wasn't really robbery. It was burglary, and burglary means to go into a dwelling that you are not invited to, and that's what he did. Something happening to my friends never ever crossed my mind. Oh, like, it's just was like people come in and out of our house, like that's how it is in Moscow when you live out of the house when you live out of the house. Like, people come in and out all the time, like, because you know them, you know everyone in Moscow. It's so tiny, like, it's not weird. And then the detective said, "So did you know this person maybe?" And she said, I don't remember. I don't remember what his face looked like. All I remember is I don't like, just like thinking of like the covering up of the forehead and the mouth. That's all I remember, and the eyebrows. What was covering it? I don't know. At the time, the way from what I text Bethany was a weird looking ski mask. It wasn't like the regular ski mask with like eyes, and because I saw his eyebrows, and I think I saw his nose and like this part of his face, but I don't know. Detective Gooch says, "Do you know what a balaclava is?" Dylan says, "No." Detective Gooch says, "If I showed you a picture, I don't have my phone. Do you? A balaclava. Could you tell me if it looked like that?" And Dylan says, "Maybe, I think." So detective says, "So it's something that we use. We use it in cold weather gear." And Koberger is from the Poconos, so he would have access to balaclavas probably. I mean, just as his like winter gear. Um, So it's something that we use it in cold weather gear. It's sometimes we use it on raids when we go into when we don't like if we're working narcotics, we don't want offenders to know who we are, so they can't come after us and our families. So we wear these things called balaclavas. I never knew that's why they wore them. Did you guys know that? Did you guys know that's why they were I mean, it makes perfect sense. Because why are you gonna put something else on your body to make you hot? Yeah, to make it warmer, but I never thought about that, okay. And she says, "Okay." And then it says, "Which are issued, anyone can buy them, it's not unique to law enforcement, it's not unique to any other population, but we buy them so we can conceal our identity when we go into raids so suspects can't figure out who we are." And she says, "Yeah." And then Detective Gooch says, "To keep ourselves and our families safe, if we showed you a picture of a balaclava, could you say if this is what it looked more like?" And Dylan says, "I think so." Um, Detective Gooch says he never said anything directed to you, the person that you saw in the hallway. And Dylan says, "Never." Oh, look, I have my chat down. Oh, wait. There we go. Who had a pink one? A pink balaclava? Monkey lady? Where did you see that? I have probably 300 pictures of Dylan. Never seen her in a balaclava. Oh, wow. Sarah, who told you that? Someone really be lying to you. I mean, that's a story. I have a question for y'all though. If this is from Vincent, the people that think, and this is from Vincent. If you want to take it up with him, take it up with him. But the people that are saying Brian Koberger is innocent, why aren't you guys looking for the real killer then? I'm just I thought that was a pretty good question. So if that applies to you, let me know. I don't know. Um, so Detective said never directed he never said anything directed to you, the person that you saw in the hallway. And then she says never. Was there movement going on? Thank you. Dylan said that could have been. I think that could have been it. Okay, possibly. Yeah. What? And then she says, "Thank you. Was this you couldn't see his mouth?" No, and I don't remember if I saw it. Like I don't remember if I saw his nose, but I know I saw eyebrows. And I don't remember his eyes. I just feel like I can see eyebrows, but I mean, that could be it. I mean, that would make sense why the forehead was covered and this part of his face was covered. And the detective says, and so I don't know this. Detective Blaker knows a lot more than I do, and Robin probably knows some things too, but have there been any issues leading up to Sunday with anyone that you can think of that would have done this to your roommates? Dylan says, so obviously we, the cops, and Audible, tell us anything weird. About a month ago, Kaylee was taking Murphy out and she just saw like this figure like watching her and it freaked us out for like a day or two and then we forgot about it. Like it wasn't a big deal. Like people live up on like I guess you maybe have seen my house when you go out in the backyard there's like that hill of all those brushes and there's like houses up there. It could have just been like someone walking outside their house. I don't know. That's exactly what I said. I said it could have been a student taking the path right there. But like Inaudible freaks out for a second because we're in an all house girls we're an all-house girl. That's why all girls because we loved having Ethan because it's like we always were like no one's going to come to our house if Ethan's here. We would always talk about it. I'm going to skip the likes, okay? We feel so safe when Ethan's here because he's the 6'3" guy. He's pretty big. It's you wouldn't really come to a house when there's a 6'3" guy there. That's true. I mean, that's true. And then another time, I also told the cops this. I think it was about 2 or 3 weeks ago, maybe a little bit more, maybe a little less. Kaylee told us she went to Winco. I don't know what she was buying, alcohol. Xana was in the car. Xana waited in the car for her. Kaylee was very good at being aware of her surroundings. Okay, so that's what that should say. We stopped here at 5:58, and then look, Kaylee is very good at being aware of, and then we don't come back to 6:44. We taking breaks? We just stop in our conversations mid-sentence? Which we all know about the thing with Kaylee. It was a guy wanted to ask her out, and he just went about it the wrong way. You don't chase girls through the parking lot, okay? So then Dylan says, yeah, we don't know. And then detective says, and you cared about in time, things will start to fall into place. And for your own peace of mind, I want that to happen for you. Dylan said, yeah. Detective Gooch said, I'm not selfish. Yes, it is somewhat about the case, but it's also important that at some point in your life, you get to move on. Dylan said, yeah, beyond this trauma. I don't know if Dylan will ever be able to move on from this trauma. I mean, like move forward, you know what I mean? Live her life, be productive, all that. I think she could definitely do that. But she's always going to think about this. I mean, this is like traumatic. Okay. So it says, Dylan says, so let's say like I keep doing therapy and somehow I piece it together. Should I call you? Be like, hey, like I remembered something? And Sergeant Blaker said, yes. Thank you, Cheryl, for becoming a new member. So sweet. Thank you. I appreciate that. The knife will show different knife lengths when you don't put it all the way in. Do you get what I'm saying? If you just put the tip in, it's going to be like a half an inch, a little more, an inch. It was the same knife. It says it through the autopsies. Double serrated knife or serrated knife. Consistent with the K-bar. Or do you guys think maybe? Thank you for sending out a membership. Thank you, Cheryl. So do you okay. People that don't think the knife is people think the knife's not the murder weapon? So then what knife is the murder weapon? And why would they leave a K-bar knife sheath there? And if you say to frame Brian Koberger, don't you dare, because they would leave more than some skin cells on a button, like a button snap. Like, I mean, that's just a little common sense. And and I just want to say, do you remember court, the last day of court, when Brian said he was guilty? Why don't people believe him? Like, he's never come out. He's never said that he was innocent. He has never, ever, zero times has he said he was innocent. If anybody in this chat was charged with quadruple murder, you would be throwing yourself at the mercy of the courts, screaming, I didn't do this. He sat silent. He wouldn't even stand up and say, I'm not guilty. He made Ann Taylor say that he was sitting silent. Like, I don't get that. But he could have stood up and said that. He could have been a man. He was a coward. He was a coward. Like, he couldn't even stand up. He had Ann Taylor do it for him. Can you do that? I can't. I'm not gonna stand up. I mean, really though. Right? Colleen, I would be like, I as soon as the door opened and they'd be like, Tanya, you better not start your shit. Tanya be starting her shit. I'd be on the throwing my hands in the air, screaming, "I didn't do it." I would, I don't care. Send me back to SEG or whatever you gotta do, but take me out of SEG again, I'm gonna say, "I didn't do it." I would. I really would. I mean, even his parents, I feel like they didn't even believe him. Like, they came out there once each? I don't know. So, it says, so let's say, like, she goes to therapy, yeah, I can somehow piece it together. Do you wanna say something? Okay. Or you can call me. I have a business card. Dylan says, but what if it's something like I don't, but all this is like, I don't know for sure, even if I don't know for sure, but I think this is a piece of my memory. Just call on me. Should I still? And it says, yeah, like still call. Because what if it is real? That's what Detective Gooch says. And then Dylan says, yeah. And the detective says, and we don't know about it if you don't call. Let me see. Okay. We're about at the end of this. Um, Dylan said, and that's the main thing is like, I wish I could understand anything of this is real. Like seeing that guy again, like it was just like cloudy. Like, what if he wasn't even there? But like after everything that's happened, like I think he was there, but it's like how much do I actually know was real? How much do I think is like made up in my mind? Detective Gooch says, do you think you can remember enough of him to give a composite for a composite artist? Hell no. And she says no. And he says not detective. She says detective Gooch says not enough. No, I don't remember what his eyes look like. I don't remember what his nose looked like. I just remember eyebrows. I don't know exactly what the eyebrows look like at all, really. I just remember thinking like eyebrows. So like I couldn't even like, and then it says earlier you said because they were bushy. And Dylan said, "Yeah, bushy, but that's all. Like, I don't remember the shape. I don't remember like the color. I just remember like bushy eyebrows. That's the only thing I can remember." What if the only thing that someone could remember from you was your bushy eyebrows? Wha- I mean, it's the bushy eyebrow. I mean, it's just crazy. He should have trimmed them bad boys down. Well, he tried in jail. He was picking them things out or something. It says, and when you saw him outside your door, was he moving? Was there movement going on? I've been trying to think through this and I've been trying to think like what do I remember from that? And I was just like, I don't remember if he was just like standing there or if he was walking. But what I think was going on was that he was like slowly walking like across from the living room to the kitchen out the sliding door. That's what I think I remember. So I had, and then detective says, so I haven't been in the house. Is there a drop from the sliding door or can you walk out onto the street without having? And Dylan says, so pretty much you go out through the sliding door. There's just like this gray cement patio thing. Then let's just say your back is to the door and you're looking outside to the right. You have to go there's like some rocks and some bushes you have to walk down. Then to your left, there's just like this hill, like these bushes, and then behind and kind of to the backside, you can walk past my window and there's like this hill of like bushes and stuff. And then up there, like houses. So I mean, it would be kind of hard to do like run up it or run down it because it was all those like rocks and stuff. And that's what I said in the beginning. When this case first happened, and they were like, he went into the back slider door, but we found out that at 8:30 in the morning, the neighbor said the front door was open. We still don't know like about that because like two neighbors or something came forward and said that. And I always thought that maybe Brian used the front door because all the cars were parked in the front there. There was that light, but he could have just went right in front of the cars, probably couldn't have been seen. But if he's going up that back where it's all lit up like a Christmas tree, their back porch was all lit up. And then their back window is all lit up. I don't know. To me, that seemed like that would be like a little harder to not be seen. But, I don't think he probably cared, because no he thought nobody knew him. You know what I mean? No one knows me. So, It says here, detective says, especially in the middle of the night. Dylan said, yeah. So I'm kind of confused. Like, if there was someone there, why that way? Like, that doesn't seem like the smartest and fastest way. But I mean, Detective Gooch said, which direction is the front door from your bedroom? The front door, you have to go again out to the living room and downstairs. When you hit the bottom of the stairs, directly to your right is the door. So it's like kind of a little bit of a walk. Detective Gooch said it's a typical tri-level. No, it's not typical. Yeah, typical, pretty much no. Tri-levels are normally like 3 stairs, like, you know what I mean? And like 4 stairs this way. Like, I don't know. This to me doesn't seem like a tri-level. It seems like, I don't know. Can you think of anything else right now? Dylan says, no, I'm trying. Oh, this was something else that I remembered. Cars do come by a lot, but I remember looking out the window. Are you kidding me? Are you? They stopped it. What a cliffhanger. And I didn't even try. No, I'm trying. She says, oh, this was something else that I remembered. Cars do come by a lot, but I remember looking out the window. I just what? What would you see? Did you see a white Hyundai Elantra? Did you see a Mercedes, black Mercedes Benz? Did you see a black Audi 6? Did you see a orange Tesla? What did you see? What did you see? So we're going to go over the next transcript on our next video. I might do a live tomorrow during the day and at night. I'm not sure yet. So keep those notifications on because this is where it's going to get, it's starting to get juicy. Okay. This is only the tip of the iceberg, babes, because we have the grand jury testimony. Now, I don't know how that got out. I don't know who decided to do that. I guess you can do that. I always thought those were private and secret, right? But we've got it. We've got the goods. So we're on page, I'm going to do this math. Don't make fun of me about my math skills. My dog's snoring so bad. If you can hear her. That's not me sleeping. I don't snore that loud. I don't snore at all. We have 67 pages left, so probably 2 more lives. So that was pretty good, though. And we did it about the same amount of time. Has Fox done an interview with Turvey? I don't think. Oh, did they? Even Fox has? Well, yeah, they all want to do one with him. I mean, it's considered new news. He is a defense expert. That's what we have to remember. Okay. He was paid for by the defense. He's going to come out and he's going to say stuff in favor of the defense, in my opinion. I mean, it would have been his word against, the defense, or I mean, the prosecution. So you're welcome, Betsy. We're all been here. I appreciate you guys. Appreciate that. I'm getting warm in this little sweater. It's not even like that big. It's like really thin. I've read the autopsy. Not even 7 minutes. It took a short time. They did timed runs, 1.5 minutes, up to 3.5 minutes. Yeah, you could pay an expert to say anything. Did you see Letitia Stouck's trial with Dorothy? If you want to see a trial, go watch Dorothy, Miss Dorothy's, her expert opinion. Every question they asked this woman, she was like 90. It was no less than 1.15 minute answer for a yes or no question. I thought I was going to die. I don't mean to say die, but I really thought I was like, someone just take me out now. I don't care. I hate Letitia and her 15,000 personalities. And now we got to deal with her again. She's terrible. Remember her different personalities. And then Dorothy was like, yeah, Ted Bundy, he kissed me. I was the last woman he kissed. Like, she was like proud of that. Like, you're weird, Dorothy. Not you guys, Dorothy. She did, yeah. Yeah, FOIA and find out. Yeah. We've got Alec Murdoch. because of the freaking clerk. We've got I almost said Sarah Boone. Don't. Oh my God, don't. Letitia Stout. And who's the third? We got a third one. I know there's a third. Oh yeah, you can, Sarah. Yeah, you can. It was actually men that did it. That did the time runs. Always a cash grab, yeah. Yeah, I kind of wanted to buy it because I do like my hardback. I have like every hardback book that has come out from Idaho, like all of them, even the ones that no one's ever even heard of. You know what I mean? But I don't. I'm debating. Adam Montgomery, thank you, Foy and Fine. He shouldn't even be on this planet. I'm sorry. I'm gonna go to hell for that. But there's a lot of good people up in heaven that could be here right now. If you don't know who we're talking about Adam Montgomery. He stuffed his daughter into multiple places after he killed her. Suitcases, coolers, ventilation, ductwork, yeah, his sister's stroller when she was like soup. And then you got Letitia Stout that burnt, abused, really abused Gannon Stout. I mean, Then you got Alec Murdaugh, killed his wife and his son. Man, it's gonna be a busy year. And then we've got Michael McKee in Columbus. We're doing the Tempe murders, but I don't know when he goes back to court. I'm gonna have to call because it doesn't say it on the docket, but I believe he waived his speedy trial. So I think that he's out for a minute. Caleb, he's out for a minute. I believe he waived his speedy trial. I've been trying to keep up on the documents. Like if I don't do them with you, I'm at least keeping up with them. And if there's something that's important, I'm like on it. Um, what other cases are we covering? There is some new updates, I think, in Anna Kempner's case. Something about her phone was broken. I don't know. I just saw that as like a headline. I'll have to look, double check into that. But don't forget, we are running a sale at my store. I'll actually show you a little bit of it while we're sitting here. If I can add it to the stage. Who was the person that released the book? Boy, I'd find out. Who did the book? Long Island Serial. Yeah, we did Long Island Monkey. We actually have a person that's in our chat, and he is going to drive to New York, and he's going to we're going to do a live outside of the house because I heard that Asa is living. I heard that Asa is living in the dungeon where, like, in the vault, in the vault. She knew the whole time. She knew this whole time. Isn't that crazy? So, oh, look, bralettes are probably popping right up. Guys are probably loving that. But we got these little things. We got all these little outfits, cute little stuff. Everything is 40% off. All you have to do is put in the summer code. It's summer 40, all capitalized. If you like this dress, that's the one that I'm wearing in the profile picture. I own all this stuff. I mean, obviously, I picked it out, so I thought I liked it. We got some t-shirts. We got everything. We've got candles. We've got home decor. We have jewelry, accessories, lotions, all the things. If you spend over $100 subtotal, you will get a surprise gift. And we have bath bombs too, and bath steamers. We got some stuff. So come and check us out over there. We'd love to see ya. What I'm basically going to do is anything that I make from this weekend on the sale and all of that, I want to put that right back into the store because it's been a while and I need to get back into my store. That's why I quit the boutique I was working in so I can have my own boutique. But I just love my YouTubes too. So we'll be doing more pre-recordeds. I've got my little operation up over here. I just have to get Vincent to teach me to teach himself how to do it. That way I can, learn. But yeah, thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it. Oh my gosh, me too, Sarah. You can't miss Koberger's eyebrows. Well, the thing is, what's crazy is like Vincent has bushy eyebrows, but like I don't know. I think I even said something like, I think I was like comparing them once. I don't know why he has like thick eyebrows, but they're not like Koberger's. They're just different. I don't know. I think Koberger has more of that prominent brow, like that bone. You know what I mean? That like sticks out, and that's what makes his eyebrows even more prominent. But I know he was pulling them out in jail or something because you can't get clippers in jail. Like clippers for your eyebrows, I don't see that happening. That could be used as a weapon. And they wouldn't let Ann Taylor bring him in because his eyebrows are seriously like the star witness, of the whole trial. The star witness. Oh, and let me tell you something. I don't know where it was at, but Michael Monkey Vaughn's mom, Brandy, if you guys haven't seen her lately, she looks great. She had, I think it was liver or kidney, like a transplant or help with it. She looks so good. And she's so happy because she knows they're going down for her little boy's death. And you can tell I saw a video of her last night. There was just like a weight lifted off of her shoulders almost, you could see like finally. So I respect her. I like her. I like her. I think that she's nice. It does look like a weight's been lifted off her shoulders. I mean, imagine health issues. Your child, you don't know where your child is. He's murdered. Like freaking, you got 4 people running around that are doing whatever the hell they want to do. So, I am silly. Oh, look at that! Thank you, monkey lady, for the flow state little sticker thing. That's so cute. Thank you. It was a liver. I thought it was. Blum. Huh? I got the book too. I do have the Howard Bloom one. I think I read that to you. Do you think the barber would cut them though, PJ? Like, I don't think they would allow that. Like, I feel like they would say something like, "You can cut his beard, his hair. Don't touch them eyebrows." I don't, you know what I mean? I don't know. I don't know how that works. I appreciate you guys. I do appreciate you guys supporting the channel. Oh, you're a hairdresser and you cut them all the time. Vincent won't cut his. He won't. I'm like, we could just trim them. They're like 2 inches long. They're not really that long. I can show you a picture. I should show you a picture because now I feel like you guys probably think he looks weird. You guys have seen him before, haven't you? I think you guys seen him before. You know what he looks like. He handsome. He's so handsome. But I'm gonna jump off here and we'll go see what he's doing. He's probably sleeping. He works hard. But I didn't know that you used to be a hairdresser. Not PJ's. Okay, I can okay, looking at your picture, I can definitely, now that you said like you're a hairdresser, I can definitely see it. But for some reason, I picture you as like a nurse or something. I don't know. You would hold that role well. Like you're always so nice to people and like, I don't know. You seem like you would be like comforting. If he has to wear glasses, people have to trim them all the time. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, that's true. Never thought about that. That would be kind of weird. Vincent don't have to wear any glasses though. I love the different views. I think I do. I love the different views. I as long and not there was no like, do we have any trolls? I didn't see any. I know that I haven't seen Ladybug in a little bit. She might have said, oh, there she is. It's been 11:42. It's 11:45. And look at me. I did that with one other person. Ladybug, you're the second person I've done that with. I did that with maybe 2 other people. Maybe it was Ashley and Isabel. It was Isabel. It was Isabel, and she had literally just, like, had, commented, like, a minute before that. I was like, "Where's Isabel?" You did almost go to nursing school? Me too. Well, I did for a semester. I did really well, but I'm not good with needles. Oh, I know. AI it's gonna be so bad, Sarah, especially for older people that don't know the difference. They don't know anything that's different. My I'm s I My mother, I don't know how she would how she would deal in this world. You know what I mean? Like, she didn't even know how to turn on a computer. Now, my dad, on the other hand, he would be sitting here. I've said this many times, and I would be sitting back in this chair. There is a blue chair back here, but you can't see it. But it's nice and big. But thank you guys. That is how life should be. You should be able to, agree and disagree and still be cool. That's adults. And I love that we can do that here. Like, we can adult, because there are so many people on this app that cannot adult. They can't. They cannot adult. But thank you guys for being here tonight. Thanks for talking to me at the end of the live. I appreciate it so much. I appreciate you guys. If you guys don't mind, hit the like button for me. Subscribe to the channel. We are so close to hitting 25,000. I can't believe when I started this YouTube channel, I didn't think about how many subscribers at all that I was going to get. But I remember going live and having nobody in there. Slowly had, got some people, but took a long time. And now look at us. We're almost 25,000 strong. So I appreciate you guys coming here and listening to me chit chat every night. I'll see you guys all tomorrow. Have a wonderful weekend. If I don't, hopefully it's sunny where you guys are. Bye, guys.
Just like the street lights lit this town, like a fire in a blaze, gotta burn it down. Can't be afraid to leave this out. We got this far, don't know how. I see danger in your eyes. They know we'll burn down the night. Coming just like the sunrise. You know that we gonna let it rain. Tonight, we gonna let it rain. Tonight, we gonna let it rain. Just like the sunrise, we gonna let it rain. Just like a spark that's breaking out. Can't make a stop, can't turn back.